Can you hear from there?
Of course I can.
I'll whisper today.
Well, you project. That's the good thing.
Do I project?
Yeah.
I like to project. People in the back can hear. Good morning.
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 Josh McCown's case, why add him? And in terms of the timing, why now as opposed to, say, the offseason or last week?
Yeah, I mean, great question. Obviously, you know our situation at quarterback right now. We got a couple guys that are banged up, and it just kind of falls in line with not only the injury situation, but also the fact that when we have an opportunity to add a little value, add a little depth, add a little competition to that spot, a veteran guy who's been around the league, and I've said this all along, the quarterback position is not immune to any of this. So that's why we did it. We're excited to get him in here, get him caught up, and then see what he can do.
So when Nate comes back, he's not naturally automatically.
Yeah, we're not there yet. No, obviously we got to get Nate back, but we're not at that point yet. As far as who's 2, who's 3, and we haven't made those obviously those roster spots yet.
Did anything change with Nate's recovery?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, is it fair to say then McCown wouldn't be here if Nate were healthy and Cody were healthy?
There's a good chance. Yeah. I mean, if Nate's healthy, there's a good chance. I mean, this is obviously, it's a little bit injury related. It's a little bit, adding value, adding depth, and seeing where we're at. And you've seen us make roster moves, a lot this training camp, and this is no different.
Were you guys discussing Josh before the injuries, or is it just something that was brought up after?
It just kind of comes up. We discuss a lot of players. Obviously, I can't and won't go into a lot of detail with that, but we discuss a lot of players, throughout camp, and we were looking at everybody's roster, looking guys that, in his case, obviously had semi-stepped away from football. So, yeah, we're constantly looking to add that value, add that talent, and try to make our team better.
Can he reasonably play this Thursday?
We'll see where he is. I mean, he's obviously got a lot to learn and to catch up on. We'll see. We'll see on that.
So Colin Kaepernick ever considered?
We consider everybody. Honestly, consider everybody and do what's best for the Eagles.
You said after the game that, when you were asked about adding another quarterback, you'd evaluate Cody and see where you're at and stuff. Like, did you guys get, a worse diagnosis? Did you kind of think that Cody would be out for a while? Is that kind of what made you?
No, I mean, Cody's injury, obviously, he's still in the protocol right now. And until he gets cleared, that's where we're at. But nothing really changed, his status at all.
As far as Brett Toth goes, you brought him in as well. What does he give you at this point coming in with 2 weeks left in camp?
Oh yeah, I mean another opportunity there at tackle and guard just to kind of see where he's at. I mean another young talented guy. And again, this is just a part of training camp. I mean, you make these moves, you make these roster moves, you swap players out all the time, and as you get closer to the end of camp and you near the end, you start looking, at your roster, you start looking at possible practice squad and different things. So you want to have all the information to make educated decisions when the time comes.
Is he a guy that you cross-train at guard too?
What's that?
Is he kind of a guy that you might cross-train at guard too?
You can. Yeah, he's athletic enough. He's smart. We worked him out a couple weeks ago. Really think that he's a guy that we could do that.
So what do you like about Josh McCown?
He's 40, 18 years. I mean, he's close to my age. No, I mean, this guy, listen, he's a veteran quarterback. He's been around. He's seen a lot. He's, a guy that just can add a lot of, I think, knowledge and depth right now in that room. And we have some young guys and, come in and compete and show us what he can do. But a veteran player that, has obviously played this position, started a ton of games in this league, and excited to get him going and caught up to speed.
Did not seeing Nate this preseason play a role at all, that you weren't able to see him in preseason and evaluate him further?
What was the beginning of the question?
Did not seeing Nate in the preseason, did that influence the decision to bring him Josh?
Not seeing Nate. I mean, Nate was doing a great job. Nate was doing a great job. He had a fabulous, what we thought was a really good first preseason game. Love to see him, last week in Jacksonville. It's unfortunate. Obviously these things pop up, and I told you guys the other day that it's I don't know if I've been a part of situation where 2 quarterbacks go down, in a preseason like this. And so just an opportunity again to bring in talent, to bring in competition and depth, and we did that.
Has he given much thought to how you're going to handle that position numbers-wise going into when you got to make the cuts before the season, and then when Nate comes back, as far as
Haven't yet. No, just trying to get Josh caught up to speed right now and see what he knows, see how much of the terminology fits where he's been in the past, and really haven't thought much about that.
When a guy retires, you kind of emotionally, mentally come to terms with your career being over. When you're dealing with a guy like that, what do you look for to make sure his heart's still in it and he still has that fire?
Well, I mean, obviously you got to trust the player. What he's telling you is the truth. And knowing Josh and the type of person he is, and the high character and quality person that he is, knowing his family dynamic and everything. I mean, this is something he still has a fire, to play, and I think he's at that point in his career. Obviously, if things work out, if he's a backup, whatever it is, I mean, he can be content in that role, obviously, and he just wants to help, and he has that desire, when you speak to him, when you see him in person and talk to him, to continue to play, and he feels good, the body feels good, and his mind is firing. It's into football, and but you have to spend time. You've been there where you got to think about family, you got to think about life after football. What do you want to do? And he really has put a lot of thought into that.
What are the plans for the scrimmages? Pads gonna be worn each day? What kind of
Yeah, we're going to go pads both days. It's no live contact as far as going to the ground. Coach Harbaugh and I, we spoke the other night and just kind of went through all that and ironed it out. Both of us are on the same page as far as that goes, and we'll get great work. I mean, much like we did a couple years ago with Miami here, but we'll go pads both days and keep it to about 2 hours both days and get some good work in.
Has the emphasis on practice this summer changed the way you weight your evaluations as opposed to practice or preseason games?
Yeah, because in practice, we sometimes you don't get all the situations in a game that you'd like to see your players in, and so practices, I can set practices up that way, and I can set them up hard, and I can set them up where we're in pads or we're going live or whatever it might be, that we can really get a true evaluation of a player. The only real change, I think, from a game to a practice is that in a game you don't get to do it over. At least in a practice setting, if we make a mistake, we can line up and do it again, and so we can correct that mistake right away. Preseason games, you can't do that, so we get a little bit better evaluation in practice, in that case.
Does the practices affect who plays, who doesn't play on Thursday?
No, obviously we're still gearing towards week 1 of the regular season, but this will be a great opportunity for both teams. I know Baltimore's already practiced against Jacksonville here, and this will be our first time this camp. It'll be just a chance to kind of go against another team, but it doesn't affect Thursday night one way or the other.
As you know, these things can get chippy. What's the message to the players about being physical, but
Yeah, I mean, you want to be physical and you want to, obviously protect yourself, but at the same time, we're here to get work in, and this was my message to the team this morning. Just when they do come in here, it's not about who's the bully. I mean, it's about getting work in and getting quality work in. This is a good football team coming in here now. This is #1 ranked NFL defense a year ago, and offense is explosive, and they got a great elusive quarterback. So this will be a good test for both sides of the ball for us, and so we're excited about that. So. If you're worried about getting in a fight, then you're in the wrong business. We're here to get better, and that's my message to the team.
Brandon Brooks to be back in teamwork at all this week?
Brandon, part of his rehab is we can sprinkle him into more individual work, one-on-ones, things like that with Brandon. Still hasn't been officially cleared yet to work in any team stuff, and we're just going to progress him like we've done with all our guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Doug.